Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kim Norland. We have Shelly Day, and today we have guest speaker Ruben with Fit to Be in Your Kitchen. And Ruben has been a big inspiration to me, and also has actually started helping me with my nutrition as well. But he has helped so many people out with nutrition, not only in competition, but just your average person as well. So welcome, Ruben, and we're glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Ruben, kind of tell us what your job is about day to day.
Okay. Essentially what I am is I'm a nutritional coach. I'm also certified personal trainer. I've been certified by multiple organizations, ACE, AFA, NSM. I was certified powerlifting coach through, which Chad should know, Mr. Powerlifter himself, the Powerlifting Association. But I have decided to focus mainly on the nutritional aspect, just because I think we can control so much more results from the nutritional aspect as opposed to the actual physical training aspect. So on a day-to-day, what I typically do is once we take on a client, get their initial calculations, set up their macros and get them going, I essentially have to look at progress pictures every day, because our nutritional changes are based on physical and visible changes, not actual scale weight. More metabolism-based program. So it means we're calorie heavy, as Kim would know, and we base everything on actual physical changes that are happening within the pictures, not what's happening within the scale. Do we take the scale into account as far as information that's shared when people send in progress pictures? Yes, we do. But the bulk of the changes are based on what the client is going to share with me that happened that week and what's happening within those pictures visibly. From there, we make an assessment on the pictures, and then we look at their menus that they've been following and their macro set, and we make slight adjustments according to what we think is going to bring them more results. So that's pretty much my day-to-day. We also do actual PT and making adjustments to people's programs, training programs on a daily basis, but the bulk of it is pretty much nutritional changes.
How, I mean, obviously, I know nutrition is very important, and especially since working with you, my results and progress have changed. I've always worked out really hard, but my nutrition has never been spot on. So how important is it to have the right nutrition program for a training program?
I think it's the most important key. It's the most important aspect.
I agree.
I consider anybody who does any kind of physical training, whether it's CrossFit, whether it's in the gym doing strength training, whether they're doing Zumba, whether anything physical. If it's physical, they're outside doing it, they're inside doing it, they're in a gym doing it, they're in a group setting doing it, I consider them an athlete. It's physical demands on the body. So I believe those physical demands need the nutritional aspect to provide for those physical demands and for the recovery of those physical demands.
Yeah. And, you do work with a lot of people that are prepping for contests. What have you noticed from differences from your coaching technique into other coaches that may not be feeding their clients maybe the same?
Well, I come from a competitive background as well. I competed for about 5 years as a bodybuilder, and I had, just like most people I've had that old school way of thinking coach who essentially it was about starting off on a set level of calories, and then for 12 weeks, 14 weeks, 16 weeks, what have you, it's continually reduce. And typically, the reductions are your carbs and your fats, leading all the way up to the show. That is kind of an old school way of thinking, but I did that as a competitor for 2 shows, and I was miserable. It was hell to eat the same food for 16 weeks, day after day after day, and then to starve your last 6 to 8 weeks because you're being drastically cut, even though you're making more demands on your body physically.
Yeah.
So the third time I went into prep, I just kind of had an epiphany, and I was like, why am I making more physical demands on my body while cutting the fuel that I provided? It made no sense to me. So I went off the programs and the meal plans I had from a coach, and I just like essentially tripled and doubled the amounts. And I didn't cut back. I kind of started with a set macro base and then just gradually increased. And I went by the mirror, I went by progress pictures, and I went by strength. And the results I had were 10 times different, and the physique I ended up with was 100 times different than what I ended up when I was doing calorie restriction and cutting and cutting and cutting. I mean, the look was so obvious. At 198, I was just a depleted skeleton. I'm 6'1", so I competed at 198, and I was just a skeleton up on stage. I was lean and ripped, but it looked emaciated as far as I was concerned. But when I came into a different type of prep, kind of what is my style of coaching now, I came in at like 212, and I was full, I was hard, I was hydrated, and I was still lean. Same amount of leanness I had with the calorie restriction, but it was just a completely different shape.
And you're probably full of energy too.
Oh yeah, it was a way easier prep. I mean, it was, enjoying your workouts. It wasn't dreading the workouts. It was going to the workouts and having PRs and enjoying your pumps and enjoying your lifts, and getting in and getting out, and still, going to college and working 2 jobs and doing all that stuff, regular everyday life. The only thing I did different once I became a nutrition coach was, since I was a professional chef for 16, 17 years, I just incorporated more health conscious recipes. I figured let's take it another step up and make the prep really enjoyable, because I mean, there's too big a variety of foods out there that people can still enjoy, whether they're prepping for a contest or whether they have, goals to lose weight, tone up, do a triathlon, anything, whatever their goals are. There's just too many foods out there that our body can utilize and enjoy, while achieving those goals.
Yeah, and I think that having your background as a chef has been really beneficial to your business. And I know, just working with you personally, that I have never been a chef or a cook or of anything. And to have the expertise and the knowledge coming in and teaching me how to be able to cook a meal that actually tastes so good, I actually look forward to my meals, as opposed to kind of what you were saying before, where I was eating something so bland, like, perhaps like the typical chicken, rice, broccoli, and just no flavor to it. And it wasn't something that I looked forward to eating. So your background as a chef, making meals healthier, or even just knowing where to guide somebody and show somebody how to look for something that's healthier choice, or make modifications, is huge. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely set me apart from what was out there. I mean, there's coaches out there that have done metabolism-based nutrition plans. Lane Norton was one. But again, he did the same thing essentially as what other coaches would do. I mean, yeah, the chicken, the rice, the black beans, the tuna, and all that stuff, but he would actually feed more of it to you. I'm a 100% Lane Norton fan, but what sets me apart is the variety of foods. It's completely different.
Yeah, no, that's huge, because I don't want more of chicken, rice. If I had to do that all day long and every single day, well, there's no reason why a person isn't going to fail, or, kind of get off that plan in a short while, just because it's boring. You can have some type of variety, and to know that you can spice things up and enjoy it, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old cliche, variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
And that's tenfold when it comes to food.
Yeah, and I never, to be honest, knew that I liked variety. I I would have thought myself as to be more of a bland person, to be honest, and simplicity. But I'll tell you, your meals, they do take a little bit of work and a little bit of preparation, but I don't mind it, to be honest, because like I said, it gives me something, that I feel accomplished that I did myself.
You're always excited. You're like, I get to prep my meals.
Because you know what? Because I know I'm doing something good for me, and I have something that's sitting in my refrigerator that I can look forward to eating. And it's like, oh, yummy! I get to eat. I get to eat again. and I think that it's important. Food is very important, and it makes us happy. And you can work out to your blue in face, but you may never see results unless you have that nutrition. So.
Yeah, exactly. And something I'm very proud of is getting people back in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, how many memories do you have as a child, as hanging out in the kitchen while mom was cooking?
Yeah.
I think in general, that's what has kind of put the United States and essentially in the place where it's at now, as far as the obesity rate is concerned. It's not just fast food. It's the fact that people are on such a fast-paced lifestyle where they don't get in the kitchen.
Right.
But I mean, look at all my clients' lifestyles. Mm-hmm. Everybody's busy. Everybody has kids. Everybody has a career, but they're still making it work.
Mm-hmm.
And cooking takes on a whole new life. I mean, it's a self-therapy. And just like you said, when you, like, for say just you, Kim, mm-hmm. or you say you didn't have that background or expertise in cooking, you didn't think you could cook. Well, I mean, I've never been in your kitchen and I've never tasted the food you made, but I guarantee you when you make something and you taste it and you're like, damn, how good do you feel?
Exactly. No,
it's that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. And I have to tell you that my whole family, anybody that knows me, is shocked. They're shocked that I'm cooking. My mom comes over and she just looks at me and she's like, what is wrong with you? I actually do. I enjoy it. And I enjoy sharing it, with other people too, because I want them to be able to enjoy what I taste and have. So if I have extras, come on over. I really think what you got going on is great. But have you ever had somebody that has maybe questioned your theory or the way you do your work?
99% of the time, every new client.
They probably don't trust the fact that you're going to feed them that much?
Yeah, it's typically the same response I get when I send somebody their initial menu. And the bottom line is when I send somebody their initial menu, I have to start them off relatively low because more than likely they're not eating enough to begin with. Mm-hmm. And we kind of gradually have to increase that calorie range. And we have to allow the body to start assimilating it and getting used to assimilating all those calories and new calories. And it's a new lifestyle for the body. Body doesn't just snap to it, So a lot of times when I start somebody off with an initial menu, I start it off lower than I would totally want to start it off as. And even at that point, the client is looking at it saying, what, are you freaking crazy? There's no way. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get smaller. I'm trying to get leaner. Why are you giving me all these calories? So, it's definitely a process in getting that communication across where, I tell them from the get-go, there's got to be a trust here. You came to me, what you were doing wasn't working. Let's give this a shot. And it's those clients that give it a shot 100% that actually make me look really good.
Sure.
Because when they're spot on, things start to happen.
Yeah. So how about like working with somebody that isn't very willing to follow what you suggest and give you pictures, and that when you're looking at their pictures, they aren't making progress?
Those, you kind of, it still boils down to that this is an online relationship and it's an honor system. Mm-hmm. And I have to 100% give the person the trust that they're going to do the plan. I have to. That's what I have to base my assessments on when they send me their pictures each week. Right. And a lot of times, as they communicate with me, I kind of have to decipher what's truth, what's not. and I have to approach them in a way where it's not going to put them on the defensive. I have to say, look, and it's not. I'm not going to hit a home run all the time.
Right.
I'm not. There's people that are not going to respond to this system. They're not. For whatever reason, I don't know. I can try and guesstimate. I can try and just kind of go by deduction and reducing this and adjusting that and figure out what works for the system the best. But like I said, I'm not always going to hit a home run, and some people are just not gonna actually change.
Mm-hmm.
There is probably, our success rate's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can count on probably maybe one hand how many people where nothing absolutely happened, and I approached them, I communicated to them that something should be happening. Either it's your workouts, you're missing workouts, you're missing meals, you're not adhering to the food program 100%. I need to know all this stuff. And they would communicate to me, no, I've been on 100%, and for some reason their body just didn't take.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at that point where you kind of they have to delve deeper into maybe getting some blood work, checking the thyroid, getting a full blood panel to see what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you have people do that? Like the whole blood work and panel? And
unless something's going on, I rarely do. I always
I've
tell
heard
them
a lot about it, but I didn't know how common it was.
Yeah, well, it's not too common, but anybody can just walk into a lab and ask for a full panel done. It's something that should probably be done once a year, though.
Okay.
Just for your own knowledge, it's a good checkup that you should probably have done every year, at least once a year.
Okay.
So have you ever, on that note, kind of fired a client?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I've actually fired quite a few.
Okay.
For the most part, the people that come to me are the clients that have tried everything else.
Mm-hmm.
They're the type of client that is determined. They're already self-motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Already self-motivated. I try to be as motivating as I possibly can be, as positive as I possibly can be with every client, but I can't be the motivator to that client, the sole motivator.
Right.
They have to want it as bad as they possibly can for this to happen. I mean, it's not easy. Anybody knows it's not easy. It's a lot of work. As you said, it's prep in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's planning, it's strategizing, it's setting your day, it's getting everything else done in your life, your children, your work, your husband. All that has to be taken care of. So the clients really have to be self-motivated.
Mm-hmm.
There's those ones where my policy is I chase you twice, which means I don't get progress pictures. I don't hear from you. Okay, I'll shoot you an email. A couple weeks go by, I'll shoot you another email. If I don't hear from you a third time, and I have to chase you again, you know what? I mean, this is how I make a living, and I don't see it whereas the money is that important to me, because the negative impact it has on with me as a coach, because I take every client very personal, I take the results very personal, that I don't want that energy being transferred to the rest of my clients.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's my chef personality that comes out. You don't ever want to go into a kitchen with negative emotions. You don't want to go in the kitchen unless it's therapeutic and you're at home. But from a restaurant aspect, when you're preparing food for 300-400 people, you don't go in there with the wrong mindset. You go in there with, I'm going to make something amazing and I'm going to make some people feel good today.
Right.
And that shows in your food. And so it's the same thing when I do meal plans or work with a client. I have to have that positive energy 100%. I've had people, and I'll say it out loud, I don't care. I've had people make negative comments to me about themselves and about their physique that's completely ruined my day. And I shouldn't say that, but it's had that kind of impact. And for a lot of people that are on my, we have a support group on Facebook. It's a private page where a lot of clients and past clients and friends go to. And many times, a lot of people can kind of get my energy for the day by some of the posts I make. And I'm sure somebody will read a post and say, "Oh, he's in a crappy mood today." Well, you know, it's probably not my fault.
It never is. It never is.
That's right. I probably got a bad email.
That's funny.
You know, and some of the things that really get to me is when, I mean, like I said, a lot of the changes that we get are visible, and they're visible by me. And what I mean by visible by me is that any client who sends me progress pictures is typically not going to see their changes because they live with their body every day. They see their body every day. They look in the mirror every day. They jump on that scale every day. So they're not going to see these little tiny minute changes that are happening all over their body. When they look at their pictures, they're going to go right to the thing they hate the most. And they're going to say, "Oh, it didn't change." You know, but then I'm going to make a comparison photo, and I'm going to put two pictures, one that this client just sent me and another one that's a week earlier or 4 weeks earlier. And I'm going to say, "Look at this, look at this, look at this." And I'm going to send it to them, and they're going to be like, "Holy crap. How come I didn't see any of that?"
I know.
You know?
And I can say that's absolutely true just working with you because I've kind of done that myself before. And, you know, we get kind of hard and down on ourselves. We all do that sometimes, you know, and I think
our worst critics.
Yeah, I think it's completely normal. And we kind of, you know, focus and we zero in, as you said, on the negatives. And I try to take what you have told me is to not look at the negatives and look at all the other things that are good going on, because there are a lot of good things that we do miss. And you know, I myself have been guilty too, just to zero in on the one particular area I don't like. But I won't tell you what it is. But
I have seen, though, the changes that you have made and pointed out to you how incredible you're looking.
Thank you. You know, but quite honestly, like, I couldn't have done those changes, I don't think, if it hadn't been the help from you, Ruben, because you know, I work my butt off in the gym all the time. I always have. And I've tweaked my diet and I've played with it for years. But I, like you said, kind of got to that point where it's like I needed help. And I am self-motivated, just like you said. And so I don't want to say I use the word desperate, but in a way kind of just looking for an answer and looking for a key. And I've followed you, you know, on your support page and for quite a while. And finally I just, you know, said, "You know what, I need to contact you because I need your help. I need to expertise." And for me, it's been the best thing that I could have done, because although my changes aren't huge, I do see changes. I will admit. So, you know, you do a great job at motivating, and I know you have a lot of clientele, and the fact that you can reach out to each one of us the way you do is also huge, because you don't just kind of send a plan and send us on our way, which I think a lot of times when a person does something online, I think that's what they're probably going to get.
Yeah.
And you put your heart and soul into each one of us, which is great. It means
thanks.
yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And that was another thing, you know, you brought up about what the industry norm was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when online coaching, the norm was actually pretty pathetic. You know, what people were okay with.
Yeah.
Accepting. They're like, "Oh, well, that's what it's supposed to be."
Yeah.
No, that's not what it's supposed to be. That's somebody being lazy. That's what that is. You know, I've had one of the most common comments I get is, "Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting to hear from you so fast." You know, I wasn't expecting to hear a reply. "Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting to get that kind of description," you know, and I'm just like, why not? You hired me. You know, and well, from the coaches I've worked with before, you know, I don't hear from them for a few weeks, or, you know, this or that. You know, I don't get I don't get weekly changes. I get changes every, 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, and I can just tell you from personal experience too, I had reached out to a local person for help prior to you. And, I thought for my big thing is that I didn't want to do anything online because I thought seeing somebody in person would be much more motivating to me. And that way that person could actually physically see me and tell me things that I wanted to hear. But that person pretty much did what probably most online companies may do. And that was, she gave me a very generic plan. It wasn't anything like what you gave me. And pretty much sent me on my way. And as soon as and she was going to check up on me and she was going to make changes through this 12-week thing. And I never heard from her. And I was really disappointed. And, as soon as I gave her my payment, that was pretty much it. So unfortunately for me, that was a bad experience. And also a local person. And I was really just completely shocked because I wanted to be able to refer this person to local people.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out that way. I don't talk about who it is, but the fact that, I can't promote her also kind of is sad in a way because I was expecting so much more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's too bad, and it's pretty common. It's actually something that I run into now with current clients is, a lot of times, especially from the competitive aspect, our competitive side, I get a lot of clients that use me and we have great success, and I couldn't be happier and they couldn't be happier, and they've achieved, whatever goal they may have achieved. They've taken a first place, they've achieved their pro cards, or so have you. And they leave because of somebody local.
Oh.
They want that closeness. They want to go talk to this person in person. They want that coach to see them and judge them and make the changes, and that's completely understandable. I have no qualms about that whatsoever. I can understand it 100%. It hurts sometimes, but it is what it is. It's part of the industry.
Right. So do you have where would you say the majority of your clientele come from? Because I know you work from people all over the place, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I probably have clients in probably 6 different countries right now.
Wow.
Almost every state. But I mean, where do the majority come from? We started out pretty heavy in Florida. The Tampa area was kind of where we started. Yeah, and I'm from California.
Were you living in Florida at the time or no?
No. I just happened to get, a couple clients that had extreme success.
Word of mouth.
What's that?
Word of mouth. You picked up.
Yeah, word of mouth. Word of mouth. And when you happen to have a client that gets extreme success that has a big, loud mouth, it travels really fast, we had this client, and I'll say her name out loud because I love her to death. Her name's Tia Pettigrew. She's from Florida, and she just went crazy. Like it was her personal goal to put me on the map. and our Florida connection just kind of blew up. And then we kind of worked west from there. We have a huge clientele in Florida. We have a huge clientele in Texas. We have some of the southern states, a lot in the Midwest, a lot in Canada. I have a few in England. I have very few in California. It is only this year that I started really putting on local clients.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I go in the gym. A lot of people that know me here don't know what I do for a living.
Right.
And so when I go to the gym, I'm the guy that has a beard, has a beat down to here, has my headphones,
Oh, you sound like
doesn't talk
in the
doesn't
zone.
doesn't talk to anybody, so it took
I'm
it
sorry,
took a while.
put your secret out.
Yeah, and the only reason it got out was because I started working with a couple local clients that were competitors.
Oh yeah.
And so people started seeing things happen,
Right.
you know, and they would be like, oh, that freaking big hairy guy over there, he's my coach, you know, and then people started approaching me, you know, and it's, you know, I mean, that's kind of a reason why one of the gyms I work at, it's an old school, dirty dungeon type, and it's a key card, and if there's 2 people in there, it's busy. You know, it's kind of where I get away.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's only been this year that we've kind of had a big local following.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny because you would think California would be the Mecca.
No kidding.
You know, but I mean, from a competitive side, bodybuilding, figure, and all that stuff, California is no longer the Mecca.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Canada, and it's all back east.
Really?
You know, big in the Midwest as well.
That's interesting.
So
are your clients mostly men, women, or kind of a little bit down the line?
it's the majority women. I'd say the split right now is about 80-20.
Okay.
Wow.
You know,
prepping for something, or they kind of get a mixture?
The majority of my clients, which people don't realize, is it's pretty much goal specific.
Okay.
And that's non-competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, whether it's prenatal, postnatal, diabetic, celiac, weight loss, you know, get in better shape, triathletes, it's those types of clients rather than competitive.
Okay.
You know, but a lot of people assume that, you know, I mean, I get this email like almost every day. Yeah, I wanted to hire you, but I'm not a competitor. You know, and I'm just like, well, okay, well, that doesn't really matter. But
well, I think just watching some of your transformations and the people that have gotten on stage, it makes it kind of seem like that's what you do. And,
yeah.
You know, they see that glory, I think, and something wonderful that people have been able to achieve, and you know, kind of want in, but maybe a little afraid that you might not.
Yeah. We do get quite a few that actually change so much where I don't know if it was maybe buried deep inside somewhere, you know, a goal of theirs, a dream possibly. But we do get quite a few that change so much that they do end up competing.
Okay.
You know, whether they enjoy it or not and continue to do it is a different story. But, you know, eventually a lot of them just like, well, man, I'm just going to compete then.
Yeah.
So that's always fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So where do you see yourself going in 5 years from now?
5 years from now, what we hope to do and what we're currently in the process of doing is go fully automated within the website, where we're going to be much more affordable.
Okay.
And we'll have a tier system, you know, like a gold member, a platinum member, and you'll be able to build your own meal plans.
Okay.
With the recipes that we have. And then we'll still have the one-on-ones with our coaches and with me, but the bulk of it will be the automated system.
Okay.
You know, using our principles and our philosophies and our recipes. But ultimately, I do want to get back into the food industry, and I want to start a fast food, health conscious chain.
Yep, that's a great idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
yeah.
That's kind of the ultimate goal.
Very cool.
I want to provide my children with a healthy option.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately it's not out there right now.
I know. I've talked about stuff like that for years, and everybody says, well, nobody's interested in something like that. Well, why not? Why aren't people interested in healthy food and healthy fast options?
Because they think McDonald's is food.
Yeah.
We have to start at the bottom.
Yeah, I know. I think that people just need to be kind of reprogrammed and given an opportunity to at least try something like that. And if you have a business like that, you never know. It could spark a lot of interest. I know I would much rather go to a business that's fast and you know, healthier choices than McDonald's or other choices.
It doesn't even have to be that fast if it's healthy.
No.
Yeah. And it can be a little bit slower, but yeah, I mean, faster, healthier options, I think, is a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You know, there's some places out there, and there's people that are already doing it. You know, but it just hasn't gone mainstream.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it just depends on the team that you put together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I know my kids. You know, they're 6 and 9, and the 9-year-old kind of grew up in the restaurant kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and both of them grew up with, you know, this whole aspect of healthy food and fitness and being physically active. You know, I mean, I'll be working and my son will walk in and he'll see some progress pictures and he'll be like, oh, how many weeks apart is that?
Got a little trainee in action.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? He's like, oh yeah, this one's way better right here.
That's funny.
I was like, okay. Well, but you know, I mean, so they've kind of been subjected to it. He actually got in trouble, and I couldn't even punish him for it, but he got in trouble at school for he had a bunch of kids in class and they were all talking and he was interrupting. And then when she walked over there and asked what he was talking about and why so many kids were listening, he was talking about how people need to eat more protein, cut back their sugars, and you know, and I was like, well, you know, teacher sent home a note, you know, kind of like, Caleb got in trouble, but this is what he was doing, and she gave me a smiley face, and I'm like, well, I can't punish him for that. You know? So that's kind of where my kids are at. And so even now when my daughter says, you know, she's 6, and she says, well, I don't eat meat, you know, I'm a vegetarian. I'm like, you're 6. No, you're not. Like, where'd you even learn that word?
It wasn't me. It was not me.
Yes, so Shelly, you're vegetarian, right?
Yes.
So, Ruben, do you work with vegetarians?
Yeah, vegetarians, no problem. You know, I mean, we've had quite a few. I mean, vegans tend to be a bigger headache.
Yes.
You know, it's really tough.
I do eggs and I do dairy. That gives me a lot more options.
There you go. There you go. You know, but I mean, you know, when I get vegans, it's a chore.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's a chore. I mean, I've done some crazy plans for people with all their stipulations. I did a vegetarian deep in the jungles of Mexico, and I had to build her plan on strictly the indigenous foods that she had available to her. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn about all these plants, all these seeds, you know, and it was like,
so learning.
Like, oh, you're continuing another 6 weeks? Yay!
Can I ship you some food?
So I mean, you know, but it is what it is. You know, I should charge them more.
And you don't?
I did a vegetarian bodybuilder in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, she did great too. She's now, I think, 100% vegan though.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just so hard. It's so hard to find enough food options, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's 100%. And I mean, nothing wrong with being vegetarian.
No.
You know, it's just the person has to be educated enough to provide the right nutrition for whatever their goals are. You know, if they're just there to sustain life and be happy, you know, that's easy. But if they're working out and they're training, and you know, they have to be a little bit more conscious about recovery and, you know, what their goals are. Mm-hmm. So it's up to the individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I would assume that I would have been vegan, to be honest, but I've never been much of a meat person. I know. But you have me eating meat, and I'm much more, as you probably kind of figured out, a chicken person, turkey person, and eggs. I love eggs. But you, again, have given different flavors to those meals where it's not just plain chicken, and it doesn't taste so bland and boring. Yeah. Something that I can't swallow hardly, if you know what I mean. So, you know, having the right flavor and the knowledge to be able to make your meals tastier can make chicken taste a whole different kind of meal, you know? So that's great. You know, just learning how to cook is huge.
Yeah, that's a big deal to have that knowledge and not just stop and buy something that's already ready.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I said earlier. It's very empowering
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And even with our current programs, I mean, for the most part, we really have to, kind of stay almost gluten free. We have to stay most of the time dairy free. And even if we do red meat, it's I typically put a 2 day max on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I mean, sometimes there's some dairy, because anybody who's done our programs know I use cheese on recipes.
Yeah.
But we tend to stay with the healthier cheeses. So, if somebody requests completely dairy free, completely gluten free, then yeah, we do it.
That's good. So you cater to a person's needs and maybe things that they have, like limitations or maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's good to know.
Yeah. For the most part, we pay attention to people's allergies and their philosophical beliefs as far as being vegetarian or not, religious beliefs, all that stuff. We take into full account. When somebody gets a little out of control and says, "Oh, well, here's what I can't have," and it's onions, garlic, green peppers, freaking this, and that, and I'll reply, I'm like, "Are you allergic to this?" "Oh no, I just don't like it."
Oh,
right.
Well, you're gonna learn to like it,
right?
And for the most part, they're like, "Whoa, okay, yeah, that's pretty good." People they're creatures of habit.
Yeah. And I have to give you a high five because you got me to try something I thought I would never even eat. Granted, I didn't like it, but.
What was it? Which one?
Pot roast or whatever it was. I'm going to the grocery store going, I don't know what the heck this meat is. I'm like, I asked the butcher and they're like, bring me back. They show me
sound like me.
I'm like, no, it's supposed to be this. I'm like, he's like, I don't know what that is.
I have this on my list. Can you tell me what that is?
I had no idea what it was. And then I get it home and it's like this big piece of meat. I'm like, I gotta cook this? I'm like, oh. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll try it.
That's another topic that a lot of people don't know about, is the butchers. The butchers at grocery stores.
Don't know what to talk about.
You can ask them to do anything, and people don't, like clean this piece of meat, portion it out to this many portions and wrap it individually. Don't just give me this big giant piece of meat.
Slab.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that the butchers can do that you don't have to do at home, but people just assume, oh, he wrapped it, he gave it to me, weighed it, boom, done. No. I mean, you can have a butcher custom your meat, your cuts, anything you want. Clean it, portion it. If it's fish, debone it. They'll do all that. You just got to ask them.
Yeah, that's good to know.
They'll do it.
Yeah, so one meal I didn't like. Just write that down.
So noted.
Well, I do recall that one of the big ones that a lot of people have said, "Oh, there's no way I thought I would have liked it, but I did," was the cabbage rolls.
Ah.
I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that was one that been like, "Oh, I don't eat cabbage."
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it either, to be honest, but it actually was very good. Yeah. Yeah, I had that a couple weeks. And, with your meal plan too, like you can freeze meals just so you can.
Oh, yeah.
So, because he does kind of repeat some meals sometimes. So if you mark them or whatever, you could put them in the freezer and have a meal already planned for later.
Yeah, we also do freezer menus where people say, "This is what I got."
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, freezer cleanouts.
Yeah.
And they tell me what they have, and I'll just work the numbers to make all those recipes fit. And they can blow out what they got left in the freezer.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So I know that you have a special going on right now for new members. Why don't you tell everybody what that's all about?
Okay. We do a Christmas and a New Year special pretty much every year. And our typical our regular price is we do initial month is $400 because there's a $100 fee for the initial calculations where we got to figure out your calculations. We do all your genetic variables and we run it through an equation where we deduce all your minimal needs as far as calories and macros, and that's your $100 fee. And then there's the $300 fee. So that initial month usually runs $400. Each month after that, $300. And that's what your weekly menu changes. You get all the same things you would even with the Christmas special we run, which is $300 for the initial month and then $200 each month after. Instead of the weekly menu changes, we do bi-weekly. So you're not going to get a weekly menu. You're still going to get your pictures assessed each week. You're still going to get support. You're still going to get your communication with us on a regular basis. And that's another thing which a lot of people kind of assume is that they can't communicate with me unless it's a picture day. And that couldn't be furthest from the truth. There's no such thing as, too much information or too much communication. So when we say support, yeah, it's pretty much around the clock. You can shoot us an email. You can Facebook message us anytime you want when there's questions. There's the support page that we provide that if you can't contact me, typically you can ask a question about a recipe on that, and about 10 people are going to answer. But again, back to the special, they're bi-weekly menus, and it's $300 initial month, $200 each month after, compared to the $400 and $300 each month at the regular price.
Okay.
And that is running until the 5th of January.
It's a great deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's worth it, guys. I really enjoy it. So.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And the thing with that is, it's like every time we run a special, we have a waiting list. When we started it, the waiting list had dropped quite a bit. I think it was about 2 weeks, maybe 3. Since we announced the special last week, I think it's jumped up to about 4, maybe 5 weeks on the waiting list. So as long as the people understand that, it's not, oh, say you're going to start, send me the fee, send me your pictures, and boom, you start within 2 days. It's, it's wherever you secure your spot on that waiting list. And it's a first come, first served basis.
Yeah, I had a waiting list too. But yeah, so anyways, it was great talking to you. Why don't we open up the panel and let people come in and ask questions for Ruben?
Sounds good.
I am unmuting people. Hopefully I don't hang up on anybody. Sorry if I do. Okay, everyone should be on now.
Hi, guys.
Oh my God.
Hey, there they are.
I knew you would love Ruben, Kim. I knew it.
I know. And actually, the ironic part about Desiree is that, she kind of moved into town. How long ago did you move in to Madison?
About a year.
It's been a year already? Wow. Well, yeah, so her and I had been talking and not really knowing that she knew Ruben from a long time ago as well. Desiree does photos, and she worked on a photo shoot with Ruben, and actually has personally worked with Ruben on her nutrition as well too. So that's great. And she had nothing but positive words about you prior to me working with you too. So it was nice to hear. Yeah, and it was nice to hear that somebody that I personally had been talking to had nice things to say about you.
I had a loud mouth. Yeah. I went through the same experience that she did with the person kind of like, taking the money and running.
Yeah.
A local person, and I was very disappointed. And then I saw Ruben's results, and I was like, yeah, I'll try him.
Yeah, it's always nice to be able to have somebody tell you a good story before you sign on.
Yeah.
Yeah, referral is always the best policy.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Best advertising.
Yeah.
And I thank you for that, Desiree.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail.
Ooh, thank you.
I just remember Desiree telling me about how she did a photo shoot with you. Well, not you personally, but with some people that you were working with, and seeing the food spread that you had out. And
yeah, Miami.
Yeah.
And those fish tacos that you made.
That was a fun trip.
It was.
Yeah.
That was That was when I discovered sweet potatoes and peanut butter actually go together.
You have me eating that plan today.
Yeah, a little bit of cinnamon and it tastes like pumpkin pie.
Oh, that sounds so good.
It's so good.
I love peanut butter, so yummy.
Right, throw peanut butter in, it's good.
Peanut butter makes everything good.
It does. It does.
Still good.
But if you put it in a way like where it's like Thai, then it's like, oh yeah, I put peanut butter in a salad dressing. It's a PB2, and it's like the salad dressing that I make. And it's really good. It's good on, surprisingly good on broccoli. Like you would never guess in a million years. But you mix it with wasabi. You mix it with wasabi, so it isn't so desserty. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
it's got like that. Yeah.
Very good. And Leah, you worked with Ruben as well too, right?
Yes, I did for several months, and it was really good. And it was interesting where you brought up about getting your blood work done, because in that last month I started having issues where the menu and the plan wasn't really working for me. I was getting burned out from the gym and the exercise. So after I did blood work, I saw that all my levels were off. So I had some other underlying issues going on.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
It is, but I really learned that you do need to eat in order to build.
Yeah.
Yes, you definitely need to do that.
So your diet was probably a little different than prior.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't eating enough. My ratios weren't what I needed them to be. I definitely wasn't eating enough fat. And as you know, you definitely need the fat in order to help you build and reduce your current fat level to get rid of the bad.
Yeah.
That tends to be the most common mistake, though, is under eating. And that's in large part by today's society because everybody thinks they have to cut back. You know,
Yeah.
The whole calorie in, calorie out theory.
Right, and then you're putting your body in a starvation mode.
Yeah.
And
People
once you
think,
start,
I need to lose weight, so I'll skip breakfast and I'll maybe have something for lunch and I'll have some dinner and I'll lose weight that way.
Yeah.
yeah, and that doesn't work. And once you start feeding your body the proper nutrients and enough of the nutrients that you need, then you're going to lose while you're keeping your muscle mass also.
And that's the key.
Yeah. And, just like having enough fat in your diet too is also, like you said, Leah, really important. And, I always felt like peanut butter, as much as I always do talk about it, I really do love it. But as much as I have always loved it, I always felt like I can't have it, And you have me eating peanut butter every day. And I love you for that, by the way. But
that and coffee.
Yeah. And coffee, because I never drank coffee before. But, and then when I saw my menu this week and I saw that half a tablespoon extra in my sweet potato, I was like, I'm like doing a little dance.
Peanut butter dance.
I was like that with the muffins.
Yeah.
Muffins I call muffins are cupcakes. They're so good.
They are good. And isn't it fun to be able to say that you're eating cakes and
Yes.
People
Well,
look
the
at
frosting. Oh, the frosting was so good.
Well, you introduced me this week to oat bread as well, blueberry oat bread.
Oh, you got that today. Okay, yeah.
So yummy. And that also has like a glaze on there too. But, it's like, it's funny because you tell a person that you're eating cinnamon rolls or cupcake, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
But it's like people look at you like you're cheating on your food. And Chad, you and I kind of talked about that, or we all talked about that last week, about like having your food taste so good that it feels like you are cheating. So you actually stick with it, and you don't feel like cheating. Because before I changed all my meal plan, that's what I was looking forward to, a Saturday cheat meal. Like, I'm going to go eat pizza. And then I'm going to cry all week about how I ate pizza.
You spend all week working it off.
Yes.
I'm like, what did I do to myself?
Right?
It's a vicious cycle.
You have to like what you're eating, or it's just not going to work.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like when you have that variety, that restriction of variety, all that does is create more cravings.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really does.
Big time.
And they build up and until the day of first, and then it's no holds barred. You know,
then you get those
Right.
those binge eating habits.
Anything you can get a hold of is going down.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
And one-
Sprinkles.
That's funny. Yeah, no, totally agree. You need
I think-
to enjoy.
Ruben's idea for a restaurant is such a good idea. It's time. It's like the time. Because Subway can do it, but Subway is lame. It's gross. The stuff floating in water. And just,
Yeah,
like,
I know.
yummy.
You know,
and
it's
still got majority of like being carbs and you know, you got your chips on the side or whatever. So,
Yeah.
which I know you can't prevent most of that stuff anywhere you go, but still,
Yeah.
you have a better option, I guess, to be able to have.
Yeah, you can only control so much with what you have in front of you. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, I don't know if, you know, we all get busy. We all have busy lifestyles, and you know, people are going to go find fast places to eat real quick, but the places that have something that offer something that, you know, makes you feel good about eating it, you know, that makes a huge difference.
Right.
You know, I was excited that Panda Express started offering brown rice.
I'd go out of my way to go to eat at your place, though. I would actually go across town to eat there if I had a better, you know, like that was my option versus McDonald's. I would drive the extra 25 miles and go to eat there.
Oh yeah,
I've done it.
You know. And fortunately, I mean, like Desiree said, you know, it's time. You know, it's the obesity epidemic is out of control. You know, the medical insurance industry is astronomical and out of this world and out of control as well, due to, you know, nutrition deficient issues that most people have to deal with and that are totally 100% preventable. So, you know, I mean, I think I heard today that McDonald's is freaking losing their Big Mac.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they're making all these changes and getting rid of all these regular foods that they've had because they're feeling too much pressure. You know, who else? Somebody else just started cleaning up their food. You know, people are coming up with smart items on their menus every day now. It's because they have to, because too many people are a little bit more conscious. You got the internet, which is teaching everybody a whole lot more about what's going into their body. You know, the consciousness it's providing is making changes within the industry. So,
well, I think everybody is ready. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people are ready to make that change. But and obviously, it's showing with the fact that, like what you just said, more and more restaurants are adding healthy choices to their menus. But I think it needs to go one step farther.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a start, you know, but at least it started.
Yeah, definitely.
There's definitely a market for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, and, you know, it's all based on region. You know, I mean, you guys are in Wisconsin, and I know I take on Wisconsin clients, and I know the eating habits that they kind of develop by region and by state. You know, I go to the South, and I give somebody a shopping list, and they're like, "What the hell is half this crap? I can't get it," you know? and they can't. You know, and that's just kind of how it is. You live in Florida, you can get whatever you want. You live in California, you can get whatever you want. You live in certain parts of Texas, you can get whatever you want. But, you know, back east, you can as well. But, you know, in between, in the inner part of the United States, a lot of those places, man, it's just not what they offer because it's not what they're used to eating.
Yeah.
If you have a client and they're in the Midwest, ask them if there's a Woodman's near them. Woodman's has everything under the sun. It is so obscenely large. I've never seen such a huge market my entire life. I was blown away. It's like a huge shopping mall, but it has so many healthy choices and so many like gluten-free everything.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Free shopping too. But not everything on that list has been in there.
Really? What did you not find at Woodman's? I'm amazed.
There's been a few things that I was like, where the heck? Mostly in the beginning, so I probably wasn't very used to shopping yet. Either.
I found quinoa flakes at Woodman's. You can't find those anywhere.
Ruben, do you remember the first conversation you had my shopping list with you? And I was like texting him, what is this? What is that?
I couldn't find cheese.
I don't know what this is. Well, it was mostly Desiree because I just didn't know. And I needed something to hold my hand.
I agree.
That's pretty common.
Grocery store, but last year around this time, there was an incident at the west side in Madison here where a woman broke loose with a frozen turkey and beat her patrons in the grocery store with it.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Arrested and charged with assault and.
Somebody hit somebody else upside the head with a yogurt.
So I'll tell you that.
Oh my gosh.
Plentiful. It comes with a risk.
The one in Sun Prairie is nice and new. So
Yeah,
go
that's
there.
pretty cool too. I like how my mom still goes to the old one on the east side, but I just, after going to the new one, I don't like that one.
Yeah, the new one's much nicer. I keep telling him to go there.
Yeah.
So is that a local chain?
Yeah.
We're kind of throughout the Midwest there?
Yeah, I think it's in
employee owned.
What is it in Ohio or I know it's in Wisconsin. Where else is it?
I don't know of it any place other than Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah, I
thinking
thought it
it
was
might be in
Wisconsin.
Illinois too. It's like Menards, it's like to the region. You don't know,
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's a great store. I mean, it has a big selection, and it really does have a nice health department now, or health foods section, I should say. So you can find a lot of stuff, a lot of gluten-free products, whatever you're looking for, you can typically find.
Cheap too. Everything's cheaper there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep. Much cheaper.
So do you guys have a Trader Joe's?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one.
I think it's is it downtown?
Williamson Street, I believe. Yeah.
You said it's hard to get to though, because you have to park underneath it.
Oh, yeah. I don't go to there.
It's not the most.
Because I know Trader Joe's is relatively cheap and affordable.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. I mean, we got them all over California, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, good.
There's a few in Florida too.
Florida?
Yeah.
We have them in Texas.
Okay. You guys don't have a Woodman's though, right?
No, never even heard of them.
In Cincinnati either.
No.
Mm-mm.
I would think it would be there. No, I guess it doesn't reach that far. Maybe it's just a Wisconsin thing.
I think that's where
I think
it's
it is.
from, but I don't know. I don't really know.
It's 2 aisles of just cheese.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Just
we're
cheese. Every kind of cheese you can possibly imagine.
cheese and brats and beer.
Yeah.
I'm a cheese fanatic, so.
You are?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
big time.
Well,
Our cheese is the best. Oh, it's so good.
And beer.
Oh, yeah.
And beer.
I don't see a whole lot of beer on the menu.
No.
There's the beer. There's the beer
Conflict of interest with like Wisconsin clients. What? There's no cheese or beer.
Here's my brat.
Brats? What? Really?
But they have turkey brats.
There's
Those
turkey
are
brats
so
and
good.
chicken brats that are actually.
I have beer meatloaf.
Oh, I love the meatloaf. It's so good.
And the beer meatloaf is good. It's really good.
Beer meatloaf? I didn't get beer meatloaf. Ugh.
It's very tasty, let me tell you.
I
Although
love
the
beer.
first time I made it, I really screwed up.
I ate the whole thing.
No, that's not how I screwed it up. I made it like this. It was supposed to be like this. And like Ruben, I thought I overburned it or something, and Ruben's like, well, it's supposed to be compact or dense. I'm thinking, well, how do I get working out like this? I'm like, or whatever.
Like, I made a brownie.
Like, clearly screwed this up. I just don't know what I So that was during my beginning stages of cooking.
Yeah.
Did you cook it too long?
What? No, I didn't. I don't remember what I did, but I did something severely wrong.
Why? Because it was like the moisture will come out and it would shrink if it's cooked too long.
Yeah, well, all I just remember thinking, well, compact, it's supposed to be more dense, he said. Because I'm like my
Like
mom.
a meat brick.
Brick.
It was like a hockey puck, you know?
That's probably not right.
No. I'm like, this is dense. I'm like, okay.
I remember one time I made one of the Ruben meatloaf in a Pyrex thing, and I dropped it on the floor, and it dropped upside down, but the tin foil was over it, and the glass broke all in it, and I spent like an hour. It was like the first one, and I ate it anyway. I'm sitting there picking glass.
You working that hard not to eat it?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like, I'm eating this thing. My cousin's like, you need to throw it away. You're going to die.
That sounds like
slow.
Dietary fiber. What's the difference?
Yeah, that's right.
For you.
I always have these
hair on your chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick up my protein container is just gonna like explode all over the floor, and I think like the cap, you know, and I think, will I like scoop it up? Like
We've all been there. We've all been there.
The floor like my dog.
it costs too much to just sweep it up and throw it away.
But you gotta buy CSN protein. It's like $80 for 10 pounds.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's like the best.
Tell Ruben about that.
Oh
Is
man.
that the one you said last week?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mix that with Greek yogurt, and you have cheesecake. It tastes like frost. Like that's what I would do with the Ruben muffins. I would mix that together because he said how to make it, and he said put casein in it. So I put all those three things together, and it became frosting. It was so good. It's just like like eating chocolate with cheesecake on the top.
Wow.
What was the brand?
What's the brand, Desiree?
What was the brand, Desiree?
CSN.
What?
CSN.
Oh, CSN?
Yeah.
I'll have to
You
look
said
that
to
up.
order it online?
Yeah, Planetary Nutrition.
Like
It's like $80 for 10 pounds.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
Big time cheap.
Yeah.
And that's shipped and everything?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's $74, I think, before shipping. And then it's like $8 shipping, but the shipping's cheap.
They just raised it. I recommended it to
Oh,
somebody.
really?
It went up to $85 now.
It's still worth it.
And then if you spend under $100, you get free shipping. But
Gotcha.
it's still really good. I mean, relatively speaking, it's still a really good deal.
So you buy a branched chain amino acids with it or something, you know, or buy like, I don't know, glutamine or something with it. And you'll be good.
And 10 pounds lasts you a while, right?
Lasts us maybe 2 months.
Depends on the person.
It's so good. It's so he the things he invents. I can't even talk about it or else my brain will explode. It's like, oh, it's so good. It makes everything like it cooks really well too.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like Waybolic, like the GNC Waybolic turned into a chemically weird, nasty. Ugh, it's gross.
I had one that did that. I forget what it was, but I was like, this is horrible.
Probably
I thought I did something wrong, so I tried it again, and it was just no.
Some guy told me the guy who sold it to me told me to put it in my coffee. I was like, oh, yummy. You don't need my coffee. So I put it in, and I'm like, it turned into a fried egg. Like,
yes, yes, I've had that happen.
It's nasty. Like it just floated on top, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, any protein is going to coagulate when you apply heat to it.
Yeah.
So that's you got to mix it as a shake first, and then put it in your coffee.
I tried that too, and the same thing happened. It's just this particular brand was so like the way it was, like it just kind of, and it also changed chemically when you cooked it. It turned into like this chemically tasting, almost like smelled like it was gross. It was like nasty. I can't even describe how it tasted because it was just so wrong.
Yeah, that's typically then they're putting a little bit too many fillers in there.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Well, and you had, Ruben, given me that information about the quality of different proteins. Mm-hmm. And, because I think a lot of times people assume maybe all protein is created equal.
Oh, yeah.
When you go shopping or, you go get something that's cheaper because you don't want to spend as much money on something that's a little bit more expensive. But what are you getting when you spend it on that little, cheaper product?
Yeah. Sawdust.
The Walmart protein.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that was one of the ones
that, haven't we?
Yeah, that was the one that one of the companies that got in trouble.
Yeah.
And there was quite a few companies that were doing that, actually. Mm-hmm. They're misrepresenting their total protein count in their in their nutritional values.
Nitrogen spiking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were counting. What they were doing is they were counting each gram of protein, whether complete or incomplete.
Right.
So and it's supposed to be, you're supposed to read the complete protein value on the back of your protein powders, not incomplete proteins, because that's not what you're after. So everything they were putting in there that had any kind of, a semblance of freaking protein, they made it count for their total.
So what should a person look for if they're going out to buy a protein powder? Anything specific?
One, you always got to check for it being a reputable company, for one. Two, you always want an isolate, protein isolate. Uh-oh, Leah's having an earthquake.
Sounds like a cap gun.
So, but yeah, that's typically number one, is find a reputable company. There are small companies out there that are, have a good reputation and they provide a good quality protein. But two, always look for a good isolate rather than a concentrate. Concentrate essentially is the lesser quality of protein. Essentially, it's like you have extra virgin olive oil first press, and then you have a second press, a third press, fourth press. Well, your third and fourth press is what you're getting with your concentrate rather than an isolate.
Mm-hmm.
So you stick with a good isolate from a good company, you're going to be pretty set.
Yeah, and I think too, like just like caloric reasons, like people don't understand that like maybe a whole scoop isn't maybe necessarily what they need either, because a whole scoop is going to offer maybe somebody that's more involved with lifting or heavier weight. So I think that a lot of times people are getting just too much that they don't need.
Yeah, it's protein is kind of like it's the reverse of what they did with the Atkins and carbohydrates. It's like get rid of all carbohydrates. Well, with protein, it's like take too much.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, that a lot of times when people compare my plans with another competitors or another client from another coach, our protein levels are a lot lower than what is typically the norm out there. I think people just kind of over protein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were all kind of talking about that last week as well. It's real easy, I think, like for a lot of people, especially guys, young guys probably, I think, that have heard they need to eat protein to want to eat so much of it.
Oh, yeah.
And skip a lot of the other stuff, but probably just completely unnecessary, just, wasting money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was great chatting with you. Does anybody have any questions for Ruben?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Shoot.
So what do you tell your clients over these long holiday periods? They're going out to parties, they're going to family dinners, and they actually want to eat some of the other food. So what would you suggest to them?
There's a few techniques that you can utilize. One, you got to have the right frame of mind. You got to go into each party, knowing you're going to have a good time, knowing you're not going to restrict yourself from being too picky with the foods. So there's a couple different things you can do. Is one, you can eat a healthy meal before you go.
Yeah.
Two, you can go to the party and you can pick out the menu and look at what they're offering and kind of feed off what the healthiest options are. Most of the time you're going to have, for you Wisconsin people, there's going to be a big old cheese platter. There's going to be, there's going to be a big old platter of meats, cold meats lying out. There's going to be a crudité platter of vegetables.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. So, you can just make the wiser choices and save room so you can go partake in that dessert table.
That's my weakness.
Yeah, and what you want to take into account though is when you're loading up on that dessert table and you're going to have that insulin spike, it's still okay. Just watch your fat intake. Sure, you're going to have the sugar spike. You're going to enjoy some sugar, but if you're sitting there eating some of that those vegetable platters, you know, again, you're going to slow down that blood sugar. The sugar that you get from those desserts has to piggyback the slower acting carbs, so it's not going to create a huge insulin spike like it would if you were just to eat it by itself. You know, a lot of people skip a lot of the other foods and go right to the dessert platter. Yeah. Well, now that insulin spike's just going to be ridiculous. You know, so go ahead and partake in some of the other things that are a little bit more slow acting. You know, eat a variety of foods. Don't stick to one item. You know, go heavy on the vegetables. You know, partake in some of the cheeses. Have some of the meats. You know, eat a little bit of everything.
What about holiday drinks?
Holiday drinks. Again, what's your frame of mind? You know, you're going to partake in the alcohol. Again, keep the fats low. Liver is going to metabolize alcohol. Liver is going to metabolize fat at the same time. You know, the liver is going to essentially assimilate the most toxic first, which is the alcohol. You know, that doesn't leave much room for the fat other than to be stored. So when you are going to partake into some alcohol, make sure you're having some lean meals. Watch your fat intake. You know, don't load up on the cheese. You know, but pick your low sugar drinks. You know, if you're going to have some cocktails, pick the mixers that are low in sugar. Stay away from the colored drinks. Stay away from the dark whiskeys. You know, heavy sugar laden drinks. You know, a couple glasses of red wine's fine.
Okay.
You know? Again, enjoy yourself. Just don't overindulge.
Yeah.
Well, if I were going to have any eggnog, it would be the eggnog that Ruben came out with. Because why have regular eggnog when you can have healthy eggnog? Yeah.
Look good. Yeah, last year I had a little too much eggnog.
Is it alcoholic or is it?
Any this year? What's that?
Is it alcoholic? Regular eggnog?
It is if you want it to be.
Yeah.
It definitely was.
Yeah. Most eggnog has alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I, like a silly person, decided not to eat.
Oh, Jim.
And let me tell you what I ate before I drank eggnog. Cheese.
There you go. Ruben's like, oh God.
Busted.
Dear Lord.
Thank God you contacted me.
Right? My diet's completely changed. And that is not how you eat over the holidays.
I'll tell you how not to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the key is, you know, enjoy your holiday. You know, even if you don't make the wisest choices, the key is enjoy your holiday, drink tons of water, and just get back to what you were doing, you know, the next day and the day before. You know, one day is not going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to make you feel guilty and maybe feel like crap the next day, you know, but you get back to what you were doing and, you know, hit the gym and eat a little bit more reasonable for the next couple of days. You'll be right back on plan.
Mm-hmm. I think
Sounds good.
People really beat themselves up too, guilty of that as well.
Yeah.
You know, partake in a little extra food or drink or whatever it may be that you wanted. And, you know, it's like you got to, like you said, just kind of get back into it the next day and get back on track, drink lots of water, and continue to what you were doing a day before. So 'cause it's real easy to, like, kind of get into a vicious, like, circle, I think. And for some people to be able to just say, well, I screwed up today, so I'm going to screw up tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And screw it, I don't need to work out anymore, and I don't want to eat this healthy stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's like you don't want to do that. You want to just get right back on track and not get mad at yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Too many people put too much stock into, you know, well, what if I want to eat? You know, what if I want to eat this? What if I want to enjoy my family? Then do it.
Yeah.
You know, one day isn't going to kill you. It's going to have very little impact on you other than making you feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I don't know how to mute it.
It's not even the whole day. It's just one meal, really.
Yeah.
And your parents want you to bring leftovers home.
Yeah.
We have an extra pie. We have extra cookies.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. See, well, that's something I never have to worry about. I don't have a sweet tooth, so.
Oh.
I did that.
I'm afraid.
I have a wine tooth.
Oh yeah. I have a sweet tooth, a meat tooth, and a wine tooth. Few whiskey.
On occasion.
Yeah.
You like to have a glass of wine like while you're cooking, right? Isn't that what you guys usually do?
Or two.
Or two.
I don't, because I felt like it contributed to my weight gain when I moved here. So I have one maybe once a week.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good now.
Uh,
He drinks a lot of wine though. It's amazing. Like, how does he look like that and drink his wine? Like, I don't know.
His body just devours everything.
But yeah, I mean, if you factored in my total daily caloric intake, I mean, like you said, I don't eat a lot, so the calories I
don't think we're recommending drink more wine and replace that with food though.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't count as fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's not meat. It's not chicken breast. It's not.
No, if you need to have wine, 4 ounces of Cabernet, that's it.
This is just water, but like that much is how much I like to drink. Like a sip.
A little sip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I just want to taste it. I don't like the feeling of being drunk. It makes me feel gross.
Next day.
It's very easy. So.
Well, anything else, guys? You want to chat about? Ruben, do you have anything for any of us?
No, not really.
Guys, Desiree, Chad, Leah, you still here?
I think she closed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I thank you for coming on. I think it was really great knowledge and information that you shared with us, and I think that a lot of people will benefit from it. And again, you guys, if you want to check out his site, you want to go ahead and tell people where they can find you.
Yes, you can find us at fittobeinyourkitchen.com, and the 2 is the actual number. It's all one word. So FIT, the number 2, BEIN, your kitchen, all spelled out.com. We're also on Facebook under the same title, Fit to Be in Your Kitchen.
Awesome. Great.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you, Shelley.
You too.
All right. And don't forget to check out Chad's book too. He's still got a pretty good meal plan going as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Told a couple people about it today. So.
Oh, awesome.
I got to check it out.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And I can't wait till you have a restaurant, Ruben. I'm going to fly and go to it. Yeah, you're coming with me.
There's wine on the plane. Don't worry.
Anything that Ruben puts out, it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
we'll talk to you soon.